This is the Real Love Talk podcast, where we show you how God's love and self-love can help you get to your desired destination. If a God-designed marriage is your goal, then you're in the right place. Here's your host, Shenique Luke.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Real Love Talk podcast. I am your host, Shenique Luke, and welcome. Oh, I'm so excited about this episode. Okay, I have been harassing her to come sit down just a little bit. No, I was like, and today,
it's a good person to be in my inbox. I like you being in my inbox.
Yes, I love me some Mecca. Okay, so it's a special treat for you guys. So we'll dig into the marriage topic, but I feel like today I have something a little bit more special just for you, because we know self-love is it. But anyway, so this is Mecca, but I will allow her to introduce herself.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes,
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to share what needs to be heard for someone. It's so interesting too, because I automatically want to introduce myself by what I do and not who I am.
Yes. Tell us who you are.
And who I am, I'm Mecca. I'm Faith and Byron's daughter. I'm Medina's sister. I'm Quincy's wife. I am also a cyclist. I'm a lover of music. I love dogs. I love color. I'm an adventurer. I'm a curiosity seeker. All these different things I am outside of what it is that I do to make money. Yeah. But if I could pick one word to describe who I am, I'm an artist. I'm an artist through and through, and always have been.
Can you tell what we're walking into? You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm ready.
All right. So, how long have you been married?
I have been married since 2019, so 5 years. So this year will be our 5-year wedding anniversary.
That's exciting.
Yes.
So how has married life been?
I love being married to Quincy.
Yeah.
I love being married to my partner, my life partner. I would do life with him in every single lifetime.
Aww.
Like if we ever got the opportunity to meet each other again, the next lifetime, I would pick him over and over again.
Okay. So what's your favorite part about marriage?
That he's my friend. Outside of being my lover, my romantic partner, he has been my very best friend. We have so much fun together. Like, my husband is so silly. Yeah. Everyone always asks me, like, how do I put up with him? And the answer is I don't, because I'm so used to him being himself all the time. But I mean, he makes me laugh every single day. He has taught me how to be compassionate with myself. He has taught me how to be, because he's such a great friend, he has taught me how to be a better friend to other people. He has taught me how to be a better communicator. So I have just overall the things that I am not, he is, vice versa. And we have just been, over the years, been very patient with each other. And we have grown. I tell people all the time to look for the different seasons of each other, because over the almost 2 decades that we've known each other, I've seen him in different seasons. He's seen me in different seasons. And we have still decided to love each other unconditionally through it all.
Great word, decided. Okay, so tell me how you guys met.
Long story, long version or short version?
We could do
Let's see. We'll do a little bit of both. So one thing I like to let people know up front is that we're 9 years apart. So when I met my husband, I had just graduated from high school, and he was already into his career, and he worked in radio. He was a radio DJ. And I was doing a summer apprenticeship, because I studied media in high school and in college. I was doing an apprenticeship that summer while during his shift, and we both connected through the T-Mobile Sidekicks. So this is dating myself. So we had the T-Mobile Sidekicks. We had AOL Instant Messenger. And so I taught him a few tips and tricks on his phone, and then we ended up exchanging instant messenger names. And we ended up just being friends, like being really cordial, talking on instant messenger. And so, make a long story less long, he was the DJ at like all the hot college parties. And so I knew him. I would always get
he was getting in the party.
Girl, yes. And so our relationship formed from there. And I ended up getting my first job here in Atlanta after I graduated from college. And then he moved down a year later. And I said, like, during that time, I said, God, if he's not the one, you have somebody else in Atlanta for me.
Yeah.
And if he comes, he's definitely the one. So he ended up moving down here. And he's probably been down here for about a decade now too. But we ended up getting married in 2019. We had a really small wedding, close friends and family, cookout style. Thank you.
Super cute.
You know, and just being in the wedding industry when I was shooting weddings, I just wanted something really simple, really, you know, dialed back some. And it just was we had a really great time.
Yeah. Okay. So I know that typically we dive into marriage talk.
Okay.
We'll dabble here and there. So don't worry, ladies. I got you. But you have been on a journey. And it has been so cool and exciting to watch. And I'm like, I really need to like do what you're doing because I feel like I chased marriage. I wanted it so bad. I felt like it would define me, give me value. I was that girl that was like, I don't even think it was I don't think it was intentional at first until I started to like really reflect. I thought I always had a boyfriend. So, but I didn't really know how to date. And then now that I'm a mom and a wife, and the mom thing really more so than anything, I've kind of lost myself. And I realized I don't think I really know or knew myself as a single woman. But now that I always tell everyone, once the baby comes, everything changes. Like figuratively, literally, all these things change. And so now I'm having to get to know Shenique all over. So what you've been doing is so inspiring. And I feel like that's what's needed before you get married. So what started this journey?
Before I talk about what started the journey, it's interesting that you say you use the word chase. Like you used to chase being married. And I want to invite you to have some compassion for yourself because if you take a step back looking on the outside in, that's what our culture tells us we need to do as women. You know, you dress a certain way so that a man is attracted to you. You behave a certain way so that somebody wants to be your husband. You do X, Y, and Z so that you could become a wife and a good mom. And you never really learn how to just be Shenique or just be Mecca unless you've had that modeled for you. And many of us have not. Many of us have grown up in different dynamics of families, but ultimately watching our mothers, our Black mothers, sacrifice parts of themselves, if not for the man, for the children, for the community, for whatever role that they play. So we've witnessed the opposite of ease.
Ooh, yes.
And peace. So all we know is to survive, and surviving a lot of times in our community is being partnered with somebody else so that we don't have to work as hard because we have it better because we're not having to work 3 jobs or etc. So give yourself some compassion for that because that's not something you did on purpose, because had you seen it modeled for you, had you known, you might have said, you know what, I'm going to move to Europe for 2 years and find myself and have an eat, love, pray. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It started for me. A lot of things happened. So it was like a trickle down effect. 2020, we just came from the pandemic. 2021 happened. My career was moving. I find everything that I had worked for, I finally felt like I was on the right path. Everything was in motion. I had it all together. I was finally making the money that I wanted to make. Then my systems broke. Then my dad died. Then I had to take some time off to be with my family. Then I came back 2 months later, hitting the ground running. Then I had my first 6-figure quarter. Didn't tell anybody because I didn't trust anybody around me. Told my husband, and he was like, "That's nice, but are you happy?"
Mm.
And he know me, like he
Yeah.
knows me.
Yeah.
And I was just like how you gonna say that to me? Like you're supposed to be happy for me. He's like, "I am happy for you." He said, "But are you happy?" And that sat with me, like really sat in my spirit. And I went back to the grind, the hustle. And then November came and I told my sister, and I was like, "Shut it all down. I was like, I can't keep outrunning this grief. I can't keep outrunning this trauma. I can't keep outrunning this pain." Like I thought making the money would make me happy. I thought it would make me feel more valuable and more worthy and more I thought it didn't feel like how I thought it was going to make me feel. And then one day I looked in the mirror and I was like, I don't even like myself. I don't even like
Mecca.
I don't even like myself. Like I was just like, what was I living for? I was living for money. I was living for things. And then when I would get the things, it just didn't feel. So what happened to me was December 2021. I was supposed to go to my best friend. She was getting married. She was having a wedding. I was supposed to go to her wedding 2 days before I got COVID. And I missed my best friend's wedding. And I sat back there in our spare bedroom on the floor and I was just crying out to God for 2 days. And I was just like, I surrender. This is it. So that's when like I deleted social media. I really started journaling. And I remember I set up this area in my closet, set up my little prayer closet with, my stickers, my prayer requests, my affirmations, my journal. I would just sit in there every single day. And I was started to seek God.
Yeah.
And little by little, the clouds started lifting. Now, don't get me wrong. We always say we're on these healing journeys. You're never really done with it, right? And so I'm still healing, and therapy has helped wondrously with that. But that's what I think the culmination of loss and having to grieve things and people is what really triggered me to take a deep look at, wait, what are you doing all this for? Like, do you even like, if you had to take all of this away, do you even like who you are, like as you are? And I couldn't say yes. And so to me, I had to get back to the core, to the essence of who I knew I was called to be. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So just to kind of give you a little background, like I follow her on social media. She did the pictures for my book.
Yeah. Wow. When was that? That was like 7 years ago.
2007, 16.
Wow.
You know what? It probably was 15 because it took me a minute to actually do the book because I was like so caught up in fear.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because like watching your journey, look, I was like, she's talking about she had finally came to the place. I thought you was there. I was like, I'm doing pictures with Mecca.
Yeah. I was telling somebody earlier today, I said, she asked me, what was your goal when you first started posting on social media? Like, and honestly, I was so broke. I moved down here in 2013 with $300 in my pocket and a job that barely paid my bills. Okay. And so in my mind, if I could just post on social media, get people to see it, they book me, I could quit my job eventually.
Yep.
That was my only goal. My goal was not to like be a brand at all. My goal was not to like have a name for myself. My goal was to supplement my little $2,000 monthly paychecks. Like that was it. And to be able to pay my student loans. Like that was the goal. Now, sometimes when I sit back and I look like, and I'm just like, wow, I did a lot. I shot a lot of people, taken a lot of pictures. I've met a lot of people. My career has saved my life. It has grown me. It has changed me in the most beautiful ways. But when I take a step back, the hustle part of it and getting away from why I was doing it in the first place and like what the original mission was, that's what I felt like I had to get back to.
Yeah. And so you said like I thought I'm gonna try to combine the two here. You said I thought when I got to this place, everything was gonna make sense. So a lot of times we think when we get to the relationship, when we meet the goal, it's the destination is it. And you said the word journey. So what's your perspective on like enjoying the journey through the pain, through the roughness? Like, how do I really just take it step by step and understand like that's the bigger picture?
Being in a state of gratitude, um, really deciding what's important to you and then focusing on that. Like, I can't imagine my life without my husband, my family, getting back to the things that really matter, who you're doing it for, experiences. I love to experience things. I love to explore things. Like, I'm doing this so that I can X. So I think even today I still do it. Like to this day, like I have my personal time in the morning where it's just it's on my calendar, it's my Mecca time. It's like 2 hours a day. I can do whatever I want, whether that's lay on the floor, journal, drink tea, sit in my closet, pray, meditate, read a book, whatever it is. I think that grounding and being present every single day is what kind of keeps me now focused on the mission and the path that I want to be on. And so when you kind of feel all over the place, you just have to hold on. It's like that mustard seed of faith. You have to find one thing, think of one thing, whether it be, a goal you have, whether it be your child, a partner, a family member, a promise that you made to yourself. You have to find that one thing to hold on to like kind of keep you going every single day and just bring you into when you could just sit down and you're just like, oh, thank you, God, for this. Thank you. Thank you. Even for if it's in the future, like, thank you for this home that I have that I can host my family and friends in and everyone can come and feel safe at my home. Like, whatever that one thing is, you have to hold on to it and have faith that it's going to happen for you.
Okay. So I want to get like really elementary.
Okay.
So if someone is listening to this and she is at the top of her game, but she's feeling that feeling too, like I know you said journaling and taking that time, but I can't separate myself from the demand. The mom, the husband, the job. Like, what would be one of the first steps they could do to just slow down just a little bit to kind of I want to do this. What you're saying sounds good, but I don't even know how to escape my schedule.
Tell yourself the truth about how you really feel. You got to really tell yourself the truth. Like, because you can't tell the truth to anybody else until you tell the self. Because you believe the lie if you're continually telling yourself the lie. Like, I'm fine, it'll work out. I just got to keep pushing through. I'll be okay. But when you're like, you know what, I'm not happy. This is not working. Something has to go. I can't keep going on this way. I'm going to lose X if I don't Z, you have to tell yourself the truth. Like, the reality of it is like, if I keep going down this path, I'm going to self-destruct. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And then you ask for the help you need, whether that's God, whether that's, somebody you trust, whether that's a friend, whomever. You tell the truth and then you ask for the help that you need to get in the right direction. And for me, it was my husband, it was my mom, it was seeking a therapist. I'm like, you know what, this trauma is, I got to do something about this. So yeah, truth, tell the truth. Yeah, tell the truth. Because you know it you feel it, you know it, right? Like, but you got to tell yourself the truth first.
So What if what if you say you looked in the mirror and you didn't like yourself? How did you get through that conversation? Like, how do you say that and not fall apart?
You have to give yourself the permission to fall apart. Okay. Like, you're allowed. I fell apart. I was a mess for months. I fell apart. Probably took me 3 or 4 months to just like get up again,
Yeah.
And I think that's the part of the conversation. We hear all these conversations about rest and taking a break. I don't think I've ever heard anybody mention that when you rest, when you sit into this life of ease and you face yourself, you do fall apart. It's ugly, it's messy, it's uncomfortable. You're extremely uncomfortable because you don't know what's coming in next. You
Yeah,
don't
what's on the other side?
know. And I think that part of that surrender is when I was like, all right, God. I mean, in every month after month after month, I don't know how I got through some of the last years, but I know that was God. Like, I know it was. But I think that had a lot to do with my heart posture.
Mm. So what was your heart posture?
Surrender, like
Yeah.
full on, I let go control. And it was probably one of the scariest things I have ever done.
Losing control. That's been
Yes.
like the trend for the
Yes.
last few conversations. Like, it's
Yes.
okay. Because then when you lose control, God takes control.
But you understand though that needing to feel in control or feeling like you're in the control is a way we keep ourselves safe and a way we protect ourselves and a way we keep ourselves from harm, because the last time that we didn't have control, X, Y, and Z happened.
Yep.
So us feeling like we need to be in control, or feeling like even though sometimes we're really not, we never really are in control. It's our like brain and our body's way of feeling like, okay, if I do this, then I'm safe.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna probably.
But then it's like, all right, God, I said I trust you.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can't have this, God. I'm gonna keep
Correct.
this.
And I think that's an everyday thing as a
Yeah.
human that I'm like, okay, God, every day I'm like this, just a little bit closer every single day, just a little bit. Like, I trust you, God. Okay, you haven't failed me yet. But then sometimes you go back and you're like, oh, I knew I should. But you know what? I'm gonna just keep trying. I trust, like, just a little bit every single day, and that's all God asks of us. Just a little bit.
And I think that we take for granted those little steps because we think that it has to be like this huge action, that I have to do, and if it's not, then it's not as important, but those baby steps matter. Okay, so what were some of the things that you did to get you to where you are? This is the fun part.
I read a lot of books, started moving my body. So Pilates was like a big recovery for me. Just that movement. Because I had injured my back just carrying photography equipment for a really long time. Started running. I learned how to swim last year. I started hiking again. I used to love to ride my bike when I was a kid. So I pulled my bike out, dusted it off. I've been riding ever since. I'm on Peloton and,
Yeah.
outside on my bike. I started building community again. What else? I started playing guitar last year.
This is so, like, refreshing.
I just, when you're a kid, you're so curious and you try things. And when did we stop? We stopped trying when, all the making money comes in. And it's like, Mecca, you don't have to play guitar all your life, but if you're curious about it, go take some guitar lessons, They hurt my fingers. I didn't think my fingers would hurt, but just the act of learning something new was so much fun and so incredible. And so, like, next I want to learn how to make pasta and flower arranging, and why not do all of the things that are outside of making a living? I want to make a life too, and I want to have the people that I love around me while I make my life.
Yeah. This is so good. Can we talk about swimming?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I told her, I'm like cheering, like, I, I, it felt like a big sister, proud mama.
Mm.
I think you posted like jumping in the ocean or something. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, go girl, like literally cheering. It was hard to ignore. Like you know how social media, you see pictures, you don't really know what the truth is on the other end of that photo, right? Because it's a whole bunch of lies on social media. But you could feel the authenticity and like the I could feel the freedom that you were experiencing in everything that you shared with us. So first of all, thank you. Because I feel like I want to do this. I was talking about you swimming, and I said, I think I'm gonna do a dance choreography.
Okay.
I'm not off beat.
Okay.
When you have a party, I'm not gonna embarrass you. But baby, you put together a choreographed. Is that how you say it?
Well, you're not the only one because I'm a two-step you all over this room, but the counts and all that.
I'm like, I tried a step class and they added, I said, you said this was a step class, not a dance class. And I had to graciously step away. But I was like, you know what? I think it's the, so I'm thinking about it because I'm applauding you for doing the scary thing, right? Like, okay, you saw it, but then you conquered it. And literally, like I said, I'm cheering you on, right? And as I'm thinking, as we're talking, like, why am I afraid to be awkward in a dance class? You know, like, why am I afraid to embarrass myself? Because it's bad. But now I'm gonna go do it for sure because I'm like, what are you afraid of? I think it's the fear, like you said, of being uncomfortable, the fear of being embarrassed, the fear of doing something wrong. But there's also freedom on the other side of that. So even if it's applying for a new job or trying a new career field or asking the guy out or whatever. I saw a guy ask a girl out on a date today and I watched it all like transpire.
Like you were like creeping
like
from
I'm
the
in the
back.
car. I'm like in the car at Starbucks, like watching it. And I was like, she was like, I'm married.
Aww.
But you could.
He was scared.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Aww.
I was just like, ooh, like I kind of experienced the emotions of both of them.
Yeah.
Like her, like, I don't want to,
Yeah.
I don't know if she was married for real, but it was just like, I don't want to, no, I'm not interested. And him building up the courage to ask and then being let down. So it was like,
but I hope he doesn't stop asking because
you also saw the disappointment.
Right.
So I'm like being very observant of the whole thing kind of happening. But it reminded me of that's what I don't want to feel in a dance class. And so I think that's what we attempt to avoid with trying the new thing. So how do you get over? And I know you said this, but I want you to go a little deeper. Like, what if I fail? What if I mess up? What if I'm embarrassed? What if I fall? How do I get over that feeling?
So I'm going to go a little deeper.
Okay.
So I started therapy. And then I went on this trip to Israel. And one of our assignments, we had to talk about a time when we were afraid and what we did to get out of that situation. I couldn't remember. And I told I was trying and I couldn't remember and like I couldn't come off the fly with something that happened to me. Told my therapist about it. And I used to dissociate. And you can look up dissociation, but in a way to protect myself, I have forgotten a lot of things so that trauma doesn't get brought up in my body. I was joking around Around, it was my birthday a few years ago. Me and my girlfriends went to go see Usher in Las Vegas. It's probably 2 or 3 years ago now. And there was a pool out back. And I was telling them that I didn't know how to swim because I had an accident when I was 5 years old at the YMCA. One of my girlfriends, she looks at me. She's like, sorry that happened to you. And I'm so sorry that no one ever like taught you how to swim after that. She said, that's traumatizing. And no one had ever showed me compassion like that whenever I told that story. And that sat with me. It's like, wait, I was 5 years old. I had an accident in the pool. And I literally, to this day, at 36 years old, can still see me in that pool as a child fighting to get to the top. And it happened to be a reoccurring dream of mine. So I didn't know it affected me still, but I just knew it was something that sat on my spirit. And I remember how embarrassed I was in front of the other kids because everyone talked about me that day. I think I was so embarrassed that I didn't go back to summer camp after that. That's how embarrassing it was for me. And I'm 5 years old, and so after that, that trauma happened, but I never learned how to swim. I was always I was just afraid of water, and I just decided that I would never learn how to swim because this thing happened to me. So as a part of my healing, as a part of therapy, I said, I'm going to go learn how to swim. I'm going to give myself 2 months, so 8 weeks, and took an adults class. And when I tell you, I was terrified to put my head under the water, under the 4 feet. And it took some time. Like there were weeks where I was doing really good, but as soon as we kind of started inching into where I couldn't stand up straight anymore, and my body knew that it was getting deeper, and I felt that same coldness in my body. And then so that first time, that first class, he had me jump in. And when I tell you, I was like ready to quit then and there because it instantly took me back to that place, And I did it for my younger self. I did it for her. Like, I'm not the best swimmer now. I am not about to compete in nobody's competition. My friends call me Mecca Phelps, but I am not, I just know how to float. I know how to, do a little backstroke, that's it. But I healed something for my 5-year-old self. I did that. I did that for her. And she's so proud of me. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care if I look what's the word? Cringy. Yeah. I don't care if my dance moves aren't as good as yours because you've been doing this 22 years. My 5-year-old self was so happy for me that I did that for her, and I learned how to swim for her. Like nobody else mattered. And so for my birthday, me and my mom went on vacation, and they had a small boat that took us out into the middle of the ocean just to see the ocean. And I told the man, I said, I'm going to jump off. He said, go ahead and jump off. My mom was like, you're going to what? I'm going to jump off. And I jumped off the boat. And my mom's in the background like, wow, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited. And she was because she knows my story. And she saw the freedom in my face. My mom takes swimming now, which is like healing for her. And so just that small act of healing for myself has now triggered so many people that I know to like, wait a minute, I don't know how to swim. You mean I can go get swimming lessons? Yes. And you can get lessons in anything. It just doesn't have to be about the swimming. Yeah. If your 7-year-old self always wanted to do the choreographed dance that she saw on television and wanted to dance like Usher and Britney Spears and all the rest of them, you should do that for her and not anybody else. And that quote, dance like nobody's watching, it's real. Like we're all going to start moving to our different rhythms, our different beats, but you're healing a part of yourself that is asking for permission. Yeah. To come out.
I love this. Okay. Tell me about the list.
The list. My fun list?
Yes. Okay. So it was.
I don't think I published my 2024 fun list yet.
Okay, I haven't seen it, but it's interesting because I have friends who've like reposted.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. So they're like, I have my list too.
Let's do it. I love it because creating a fun list kind of helped me so last year I didn't do any professional goals.
Okay.
I was like, let me have fun. Let me do a fun list. And so like and it wasn't in any order. I just had like 10 things on there that I wanted to learn how to do. Number 1 is learn how to drive a stick shift because my dream car is a Corvette. And
Okay.
I want an old school Corvette and I want to be able to go and all that other stuff. So I wanted to learn how to drive stick shift. I still have not found anyone that's still up there on my list. That is not a checked off thing.
I know how to drive a
But
stick.
you do? You gonna teach me how to drive a stick?
I will.
For real?
My mama had a stick. That's all she used to drive.
My mom had a stick too, but I'm scared to learn how to drive from my mama because my mom doesn't know how to drive. Sorry,
Look, can I teach you? Is the question.
My uncle taught my mom how to drive, but I really want to learn how to drive a stick shift. I love to drive. I really do. And so I learned to drive a stick shift. I wanted to attend a curated dinner experience, and it just so happened that a girlfriend of mine invited me to one. I went on a group hiking trip, the guitar lessons, swim class, riding my bike. I joined a little like bike clique I was riding with last summer. This year I want to do calligraphy classes. I want to do floral arranging classes. I want to learn how to make pasta, like egg noodle pasta. What else is on there? Yeah, there's so much. There's so much. I just want to try, and I think the list keeps me focused on life outside of work.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the part where we've missed the mark on because, like you said, it's always been about the money. And then I feel like, especially for us as a culture, like we've been in survival mode for so long that we don't even think of things that that we enjoy. I was like, now that I'm a parent, like I'm always in observation mode, paying attention to the little things. And I've tried to, like you talked about, being in a state of gratitude. Like I feel like at one point with Gabby, I had gotten so caught up in just like I always talk about this pressure that happens when you become a parent.
Okay.
Because it's not like I could mess up. When it was me, I could mess up. I could lose everything. I get it back. And it was just me.
Yeah.
Or if I'm broke, I'm hungry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can go get me a little whatever 99 cents
Correct.
something.
Some noodles and
I'm
call
good.
it a day.
But like my baby, I gotta take care of her. And so I started to just like enjoy the little moments. Like one of the things that I did was I would just start watching her hands.
Oh.
Like, because they're never going to be this little again. She's just going to keep growing. And I started to teach her, like, look at the sky. And one day I caught her. She looks so nice outside, Mommy. Isn't it beautiful? And I'm like, okay, this feels like life. What you said, life. And we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle, or she has to be in bed by a certain time and she has to be up and dinner.
Who's that for?
Yeah.
Who's that for?
Yeah, like missing out on the fact that I have a little child who's never going to be this small again, right? And so something as simple as putting her in gymnastics and then encouraging her that if you love gymnastics, because the girls that teach her are teenagers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So like, I feel like that part of our culture, we kind of missed the mark on because we weren't encouraged to do the thing we love to do as work.
And I think that's why I have my list because like all the things, like my husband has this thing where he grew up poor. So anytime he has a pair of Jordans or sneakers that he wants, then comes out, he just goes and buys them because he can. I look at my adventures that way. Like I couldn't do gymnastics when I was 7, but if there's an adult gymnastics, sign me up. Like let's do. I'm out there tumbling with the girls. Don't take me to Sky Zone. Don't invite me to a Sky Zone birthday party. I am showing off.
Okay,
but yeah, like I feel like that's kind of my way of, and like let's be honest, like to give our parents, our elders, some compassion. They didn't have the opportunity to sit here and do a podcast in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
That wasn't a choice for them. Because we can create our lives the way we can create, and because we can make money in different mediums outside of physically having to show up in labor, I think we owe it to them to do all the things that they stopped dreaming about once they reached working age, because
Yeah.
then their life became about work. Their life became about family. And so in a way, like the same way my mom started swimming after she saw me jump in the ocean, I feel like that healed something in her.
Yeah.
And I want to keep doing that for her, for my ancestors, for my aunts, for my grandmothers, for all the women in my lineage who didn't get a choice to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Mexico and I'm gonna get on a boat at a resort
Right.
and jump off the ocean. When would I ever get a chance to do that again? You know? Yeah. So it's I feel like I am taking the opportunity that's available to me at every single moment and living, because my father used to always say, he used to write Tempest Fugit in all his text messages. He would end with that. And we were like, Tempest Fugit, what are you talking about? Like, and it wasn't until he passed that I Googled it one day. And Tempest Fugit is Latin for time flies. And it's written on a lot of old grandfather clocks and things. And then when I Googled it, the whole thing was Tempest Fugit memento vivere, which it means time flies, remember to live. And I think it took me losing my father to be like, wait a minute, I'm not living enough, because one day this is over. There are no redos in this. Like, I can literally right now decide what I want my life to look like. I get to create my life. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with loving what you do for work. There's nothing wrong with that. Where I know that I personally made the mistake is I made that my whole life. I would wake up and I would work, and my value was my work. And the way people perceived me was how I valued and perceived myself. And if they weren't perceiving me a certain way, I wasn't valuable. Like, my brand, my work, whatever, how much money I made, that became who I thought I was. That became my value, and that couldn't be farther from the truth of who I was. And I was like, wait a minute, who am I out? When you turn this off, when you turn the lights off, when I put the camera down, when I shut the computer, who am I? Didn't have a life. You know how people be like, get a life. Like, I really didn't have a life. And then I think that made me really just value my marriage more. Like, wow, you really are, like, God sent you to me. Like, you really are my best friend. Like, yeah, I made a lot of money and we should probably go celebrate it, but like, you're also you could literally see through me that I am struggling right now, and I am just trying to get, like, I have all this stuff, but on the inside in my heart, I'm just not okay. And him being my biggest convictor, I guess I could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And recognizing that he's not harming me, he's being honest with me, he's being my mirror, he's being transparent with me, he's reflecting back to me what he sees. That is the thing that pushed me into a different direction. And I don't know if I didn't have my husband, if I would have self-destructed. And it has allowed me to have a lot more compassion for other people, because I get to go home to my husband. I get to be in this marriage. I get to have this life partner.
Oh my God, she about to make me cry.
I get I get
Oh my
to
God.
like how beautiful that, like, people are seeking that. Like, how beautiful that is, you know? And here I am overlooking him and chasing this piece of paper or this thing that really doesn't matter. Like, and I hate that death had to bring me to that. But it's a reality. Like, none of us are getting out of here alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
None of us. But it has allowed me to. It has allowed me, to respect my time a little bit more, because I get to go home to people that I genuinely love and care about. It has allowed me to build my community more intentionally. It has allowed me to be more intentional with my words and what I say and how I make other people feel. I think the more compassion and the more I have learned to love and like myself, the better I have treated other people.
Yeah. So what's one thing I can do to be more compassionate towards myself?
Change the way you speak to yourself. And that's a practice. It's really a practice, like, every day. Like, I love listening to affirmations. There is an app called Insight Timer that I love. It's just I think it's such a blessing to me. There's all types of meditations and affirmations and prayers on there that I like to sit there and, like, repeat to myself and listen to, and just once you start what you say to yourself, you really start to believe.
Yeah.
You start to believe that, and the more you say
They
positive
say it's like
things.
your voice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like your insight, and don't get me wrong, sometimes that negative voice is going to come up,
Yeah.
but now you have the tools. Not like, it's more than just having scripture, honestly. Like, sometimes we combat that with scripture. That's fine too. But, what we tell ourselves, really how we talk to ourselves, how you
Mhm.
talk to yourself matters. And so when you talk to yourself more lovingly, you talk to other people more lovingly. And then, like, or when a bad thought, not I couldn't even call it a bad, because I don't believe necessarily good or bad, right or wrong. But when a thought that comes up that doesn't make you feel good, because it's really about how you feel and checking in with yourself. When a thought that comes up that doesn't make you feel good, you now have a tool and say, you know what? No, let me give myself this affirmation. Like, whatever it is, like, I can tell myself something different. Because that's like, I say to myself all the time, that's not true. I'm like, that's not true, Mecca. I'm just talking to myself like, that's not true.
Mhm.
You know.
That's good. I did and you know how you sign up for stuff and then they do webinars,
Mm-hmm.
personal development type or business related things,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll send out like a webinar.
Mm-hmm.
And usually here and there I'll do it, but I rarely I don't, because it's usually in the middle of the day. I'm working,
Yeah.
and I got a notification from Tory Burch, I want to say. Anyway, and there was a woman, it was called Defeating Your Self Critic or
Okay.
something like that. I'm like,
Okay.
I think I probably need to
Mm-hmm.
listen to this. And it was my first time being introduced to self compassion
Mm.
activities,
Mm-hmm.
or how you speak to yourself. And it was actually like kind of that was, it was life changing for me, because I realized my self talk sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was tough love. Like keeping
Mm.
yourself accountable. Like,
Being hard. If I'm
yeah,
hard on myself, then I'll perform the
yeah.
opposite of what I'm telling myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to be what I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling myself.
Mm-hmm. And it was
Yeah.
bad. And so she talked about failure and not meeting the mark, or you have a presentation and you don't do such a great job on it, or you don't get the job. Like telling yourself, I'm still rooting for you.
Yeah.
You're still valuable. You're still
Put them on your
special.
bathroom mirror.
Yeah.
You look in you're in your mirror
Mm-hmm.
every day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
Put them on, like, literally the things that I used to say to myself, I would write an affirmation in its
Mm-hmm.
opposite, or to combat that, and put it on my mirror and
Yeah.
read it every single time until I actually believed it.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I do for my daughter, because I learned that
Yes.
dry erase marker, my friend, in my
Yes.
mirror. And every morning she's like, I'm beautiful, I'm kind, I am intelligent. And I have her say, I am Gabrielle Luke, and I love myself.
Aw.
So it's like now,
Imagine if she said imagine if the things that you said to yourself, she said to herself. But that's where we learn. We learn our critical self from the people around us.
Mhm.
That critical voice. Like,
Mhm.
if a parent figure or somebody who is important to you was hard
Yeah.
on themselves or hard on you,
Mhm.
you hear that voice still to this day in your head.
Always.
And so if they love you and they said that to you, then it has to be true. And it's not
Mhm. Yeah.
true. I'll be like, that's not
Yep.
true, Mecca.
And she said, when like when you hear that voice,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, for me, I know it was childhood. All the
Mm-hmm.
people telling me I was ugly. Like, and that just
Mm.
kind of,
Mm-hmm.
and um she says, what is the intention? Every time you hear that voice, you
Mm-hmm.
ask yourself, what is is this voice intention good for me? So
Mm.
you're like always challenging.
Mm-hmm. What is why are you saying that to
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what is the intention?
Mm-hmm.
And so then that's when you're shutting it down
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
believing it
Like, wait a
over
minute,
and
that's not
over.
true.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, like, I'll have my days. Like, I had a bad day this week. Like, I couldn't get out of my funk. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
was just I prayed, I meditated, I stretched, I went outside for a walk, and I just couldn't shake it. Like you'll have those days. Those days will come. Like, and it's like, have bad moments, not bad days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And having somebody to talk to
Mhm.
really, like right now, I've been in Atlanta for 10 years, and I still feel like I haven't found like my core community, like my
Mhm.
girlfriend community, like
Mhm.
how I have at home. And so I think a lot of that, like my pain now, comes from that, because that's something that I'm actively working on.
Mhm.
And my husband had to just speak, like I'm so thankful for him. I swear I am.
Yeah.
Like he is like my person that I can just be my weakest self to, and he lifts me up every single
Mhm.
time, and is able to be honest with me, and be caring and kind with me, and talk to me in a way that, like I know when he says something to me, I can just really take that as truth, and he's not
Mhm.
trying to harm me. You know what I mean? I trust him. And so, like, we were just able to sit in, like, I was saying all these things about myself, and he's like, Mecca, he's like, you have a right to feel how you feel, but that doesn't make it the truth. Like,
Mhm.
feelings aren't always facts. Malik always says that, but like, just because you feel a certain way about something doesn't make it the truth
Right.
of what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So you talked about your husband, like seeing your person, seeing you. So the Love Prep Academy,
Mhm.
our audience, and we cater to women who desire marriage.
Mhm.
They may be getting older, they may be losing hope,
Mm.
they're feeling like it's never going to happen.
Mhm.
And they may be sitting here
Mhm.
hearing you talk about Quincy and saying, man, I wish I had that.
Mhm.
When is it going to happen? Like, what would you say to her to just encourage her to keep hope?
I would encourage her to use the love that she has, like currently all the love that she has bottled up inside of her and she wants to share with a partner. I would encourage her to use that on her friends, her family, herself, her community. And it's easy to say, "Oh, he's coming. He'll wait. Like I'll just wait." But if marriage is something you desire, and let me be honest, like I didn't always desire, like I desired a partner,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know marriage was something that I wanted. Um, but a lot of times it's that person that is right in front of you that you need to be pouring that love into, and it's yourself.
Mm.
And I do believe, like, I believe in love so much. Like, I believe in love at first sight. I feel like it wasn't love at first sight, but the first time I met my husband, I was like, oh, I'm going to marry him. Like, oh, he's my husband. Like, I couldn't stand him. I thought he was rude. I thought he was arrogant. I was like,
That's hilarious.
you just know. Like, there was just something, like, he just glowed. I don't know what it was. There was just
Not
something about he glowed.
glowing.
Like, I can't even explain it. Like, I just knew when I met him that was my person. That was my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of waiting, like, like waiting is a verb. Taking your love and loving like I wish if I could do it if I could do it all over again in the interim of when we met and when we got married, or when we met and when we got serious about our relationship, I wish I'd lived more.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I'd I wish I traveled. I wish I did all the things that, because I think about, like, if I was my daughter who is in their 20s and experiencing life,
Mm-hmm.
for the first time ever, I wish I lived more. I wish I went to Africa and went to Japan and
Yeah.
did the
Just
cruises and
explore the world.
explored the
Yeah.
world and explored myself and got curious about everything, asked questions about everything. I wish I would have put myself into things that made me uncomfortable.
Mm.
Because he might be right there.
Mecca. That's good.
Your,
And
your,
meanwhile,
your husband might be
we're avoiding all the
your husband might be at an
discom-
anime conference, you know. he might bake cookies for a living. You know what I mean? But you guys are such complete opposites that you're not looking for your husband at a cookie making convention, So just trying different things that you're curious about, like exploring, going on the hikes, going to swim class, taking a dance class. Your husband might be there. But if you don't get uncomfortable and try those things that you're really curious about, you might never find them.
Yeah. Y'all listening?
You have to he's I believe that they come when they're ready, right? And there's no way to ever say when I didn't expect to fall in love that early. Like I didn't expect that. I thought I was gonna be a young hot girl in Atlanta, child. I didn't expect that. I thought I was gonna have at least a year or two,
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't. That came really fast for me. But I always think about my friends who are, who enjoy being single and are like, you know what, I'm good. I think about them and just how much life they have. And I admire them for that. Like they have dogs, they go out to brunch on Sundays. They're a part of organizations. They fill their love in their life with the people that they love too. And that means a lot to me. That shows me how to be a better friend. Because like honestly, if I'm like the how I talk about being like finding friends here in Atlanta and building community, I feel like I'm dating a lot of times.
So it's funny you say that because I'm in the process of building. And I was telling one of my long-term friends, I'm like, I feel like I'm dating. Like, I don't want to come off too much. I don't want to do too little. Like, it's like, I want her to know I care. I care, but I don't want to be desperate. So it's funny you say that. I literally was like, this is like dating.
I like hanging out with you. You want to hang out again next week?
Can we hang out again?
Is next week too soon? Should I call you in 2 days? It really feels like that. And so it's interesting because I'm like taking my own advice. And so the more I've explored my life, the more the right people have come.
Yes, absolutely.
Truly, like the more aligned people with the similar values, similar missions, similar frequencies, similar belief systems, similar thought patterns have come into my life. But I don't think I would have ever found them had I not put myself out there or put out there that, hey, I'm looking for community, or hey, I like to go hiking and you want to go hiking with me? Let's all go hiking. And now you know what I mean? And so it does feel a lot like dating.
Yeah, it does.
And so I feel discouraged sometimes, like how I was feeling earlier this week. I feel discouraged sometimes because I'm like, why isn't my best friend here? Like why haven't I've been here 10 years? Why haven't I found her?
What is taking you so long?
And like I know my core community is out there. Like I know in my heart, I know that it's out there. But it's like you just get sick of waiting. Yeah. And especially it's hard, especially social media, you see everybody else online and their friend groups. They met in college and y'all been friends all this time. I love to see it because I desire that one day too. But I'm like, it's hard to witness it when you desire it so much and don't have it. So I understand. I can understand. I can, but I can confirm that the more uncomfortable that I get, the more aligned I get with myself, the more I tell myself the truth about what I want and who I am and the direction that I'm going, the more the right people come into, and like I'm open. You have to remain open.
Yeah,
too. It's hard. It's easy to close yourself. It's so easy to close yourself off, especially like if you go on a date and this guy offends you and this happens, and it's so hard. It's so easy to close yourself off. But I think through therapy, I have processed a lot of the pain and friendship trauma that I've been through. And I have opened the door again to allow people in and like, okay, wait, she's not like this person and she's not her. And I can't hold that against her because all women aren't like that. You know what I mean? And I think it's the same thing when you're dating romantically. Like, yes, he has a character flaw. Like, yes, he shouldn't have done that to you. No, that wasn't okay that happened in your relationship. But if you still want to be married, you still believe that that person is out there, you really have to keep exploring yourself and exploring the world, and those right people will find you.
Yeah. And then the discernment, right?
Ooh,
Like just
we
making
can do a whole we can do a whole podcast on that, because that comes with the, like, once you love yourself, then you learn how to trust yourself.
Yeah.
And then once you trust yourself, then you learn how to make better decisions. But then you still be like, all right, is that a good decision? Because I don't feel comfortable. But yeah, that's a whole, that discernment is a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is,
We could sit here and talk for another
I
hour if you
know.
want to.
Well, I just want to say it has been a pleasure to watch what you've been going through. And it's like encouraging because I'm like, I need to do this too. Like, I need to find and search and like figure out who I am, not as the person who wanted to be married or the person who felt less valuable because so I really wanted to thank you. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
Thank you for
having me. Thank you
sharing,
for
being.
seeing me.
And I'm
just like, I'm out here just throwing
I'm
wet
like-
paper at the wall. Like,
I'm
hey,
like,
this is all I got for y'all
the
right
record-
now. Like, yeah, I'm still up here taking pictures, but this is just what I
No,
we
but
swimming
it's
today.
been like beautiful to watch, and you
you.
can feel the sincerity
Thank you.
in it. And I'm happy for you.
Thank
I'm like,
you.
I'm cheering you on.
Yes,
I'm
thank
like,
you. Yeah. I've been having a great time. Like, I really
it
have.
looks like it.
I really have.
It looks like it. And it's appreciated because, like you say, you're not something, you're not the only person experiencing it. But sometimes it feels that way. So even as like, I'm like, ooh.
I felt like when I first started, like, my healing journey, I was going against the grain of what everybody else around me was doing. Everyone was still working, everyone was still hustling, everyone was still getting money. And I was like, I don't want to
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all got that one over there. But and I'm just, what you doing, Mac? I'm out here trusting God. Like, me, it's just.
But I feel like that's exactly where he wants us to be.
Yeah.
What you were doing before is what society says.
That's what I was taught to do. That's what I've been groomed to do all my life. High school, everything. They teach you how to be somewhere for 8 hours a day. And then, yeah. I don't want that life no more.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your journey.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy for I'm excited and
Thank
happy
you.
for you. And you are encouraging me. So I want to say
so excited
thank
for
you.
you. I mean, write your fun list. I want to see your fun list. I want to see everybody's list
I
in
know,
their notes
right?
app.
I'm like, okay.
Those big things that you've always, 6-year-old, you have always wanted to do.
I feel like it's the things that you've kind of buried away.
Like, what did you like to do when you were a kid? Like, what was your, like, you couldn't wait to do when you got home from school or like in the summertime? What was like your thing?
Definitely the pool.
Okay.
I would stay in the pool all day. Like summertime.
Yeah.
Just being outside. I played tennis in high school. So
There's a black tennis group.
Yeah, I thought about picking that back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Gabby in swim class, and I was like, I think I want to just try
There's
it
Mommy
out.
and Me swim classes.
So in the dance classes, I just feel like the thing that I admire the most is it feels like freedom watching you.
Oh my gosh. It is. It's because I don't really care what other people think. I'm doing this for myself.
And I feel like life kind of like restrains you, especially just, do it this way. If you don't do it this way, then you're not going to get and you're like, you end up just being like kind of backed into a corner.
Yeah.
And to an extent with parenting, like I feel like that pressure really kicked in because now it's not just me and my actions have impact on someone else.
What's something? So I would encourage you to pick one thing for you. Pick one thing that you and Gabby can do together, so that she can see you being courageous.
So
she can remember, my mommy's courageous. My mommy takes me, and my mommy does X, Y, and Z with me.
So when you're talking about therapy, I finally found a good therapist.
Great.
So I'm gonna piggyback on that part. Get a good therapist, and I love her. Like I feel like we could be friends. Like we're laughing. We are having even down to how I speak.
Yeah.
The chill conversation. She is just like giggling.
As long as they're giving you the tools that you need.
Yeah. And
That's all you
it's
need.
so funny because I said one time, I'll just be like, yeah, it's just a regular day. I'm just doing this thing and this is what happened. And then she'll say something. I'm like, oh, I have issues. You're just like,
wait, I'm a people pleaser.
Wait, what?
I have this
Yeah,
attachment
I'm like,
style. Wait a
yeah,
minute.
I'm like,
Why did
I
do
was just
that?
telling you about my day.
Yeah.
So it's been very enlightening.
Oh, I get it.
So,
I get it.
but Mecca, this was so good.
I'm so happy we finally got to do this. Yeah. I was a little nervous. I was like, okay, what I'm coming here to talk about? But
I know,
no,
right?
I love to share this part of my journey with other people because this is my truth.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I don't have to, I can just fully be myself with when I'm talking about this because I'm just coming more into myself. Like you were saying earlier, you want to get to know yourself. I feel like I'm in this process of getting to know myself and like I don't have anything else to share but the self that I'm discovering. Like I've been telling people like you have to get, if you've met me prior to maybe a few years ago, like you have to get to know me again because my desires, they're different.
And no, I the reason that I shifted the conversation and asked different questions in this particular interview was because I feel like that's what we're missing when we're seeking love and relationships. We're like bypassing us and looking outward when this is the thing. And if we avoid it in our single season, baby, it's coming full force in marriage.
Listen, one of the things that I love about for me and in my marriage, I have me, my husband has himself. Y'all know what I meant. And then we have us together. So like I'm whole without him. He's whole without me. But we love being whole together. Like I know he's sitting at home missing me right now. Yeah, he want me to bring him something to eat.
He's like, podcast.
But yeah, right. But I love the fact that he is whole and full and is a complete person, an emotionally intelligent person without me, can do critical thinking without me, and doesn't depend on me to dream. And that's very that's one of the reasons why I admire him. He teaches me how to continue thinking outside of the box. And I think that's beautiful. How we balance each other. But there was like some discourse online the other day and it was like, if your girlfriend invited you on a girls trip, would you tell your husband or would you ask your husband? And I had to sit there and think about that. Like, of course there's different dynamics. Like if you have children involved, you guys have joint ventures, you have other things involved. But I don't think I'd have to, I like that I don't have to necessarily ask. I can still live a full life without. I could be gone for 3 months if I want to. He's like, no, go to Israel, like go to Ireland, go to Africa, go do. I appreciate that I still have a life outside of my marriage,
and that's important. And somewhere there's been a disconnect that's teaching women that it has to be like you leave this person and then you go into this life and I'm in that process of identifying it and having these conversations to show the other women like, no, what they've been telling you is a lie. Here's the truth. Because having conversations, and we speak to single women too, or I should say I would say we, but the conversations that I'm having are important because I was the single friend that got dropped off, with the exception of one married friend. Everybody else just kind of dropped me off, like kind of left me behind, and I felt like I was less than because they didn't treat me less than because I feel like it was definitely an internal thing, but it was like you can't sit with us.
So that's interesting you say that because I felt like that when all my friends started having kids. And it's not intentional. I don't think people do it intentionally, but there is a certain. I love and respect my friends who understand the community of like how we all need each other. My husband and I have decided not to have kids yet, if we ever have them, but I love our friends who involve us in their
Yeah.
children's lives, because it's like, just because I don't have that same thing that you have doesn't mean, one, I don't understand, and two, doesn't mean that I don't want to be there fully for you.
Right. Yeah, same thing happened with me. I'm like, why didn't I get an invite to the birthday party?
Right,
And they're like,
right.
oh, you know, you don't have kids, you don't want to come. And
No,
I'm like, I want birthday.
I'm coming to Sky Zone. I want cake. I'm taking pictures. I love the kid. Like,
Yes.
I love being a part of my friends' children's lives.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so fulfilling.
absolutely.
It's very fulfilling
And
for
it's
me.
appreciated when you have the friend who's just like, we're family. It
Yeah,
doesn't
drop the
matter
kids
what.
off.
Yeah.
Drop the kids off. Yeah, no, and that's me and my husband. Like, we're
Yeah.
auntie and uncle to, my husband got like 5 god kids. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
But
Gabby got all the aunties.
yeah, like
okay.
but no, I don't, like I said, I don't think it's intentional. I think that we have, it's like, okay, you're other
Yeah.
now, and you can't possibly understand what I'm going through over here because you have never experienced or had this. But again, that's, like you said, it's internal. It's internal work. Because we all are supposed to operate as a community. But girl, we'll sit here and talk forever about this job.
Well, I appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love this. I love what you're doing, and
Thank
it
you.
is encouraging me.
Thank you.
I can't speak for
no,
other
and that's the point.
people.
Like, I'm
It's
just putting it out here.
encouraging
Like,
me.
you don't gotta jump in the
Yeah.
ocean, but put them rollerblades on and keep going. It don't matter.
Absolutely. Well, I hope that was amazing and beneficial for you, and you enjoyed it as much as I did. You know what? Actually, this ain't even for you. This is for me. Okay. Okay, Mecca, before we wrap up, tell the people what you're doing now and how they can get in touch with you.
So you can get in touch with me at Mecca Gamble, MECCAGAMBLE, on all social media, meccagamble.com. Right now, I'm still taking pictures. I'm still a photographer, but I've also been building out my agency, my marketing agency, where we help others do campaigns and do video content and visual content for their businesses online. So that has been extremely fun. And I'm getting into leadership and speaking and doing all the things that I just always wanted to try. So it feels good to just be curious about my career again. So that feels really good.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the fruits of that. And if you have a friend or family member that could benefit from this conversation, please share this with them. This was so beneficial for me and what I'm experiencing in life right now. So just take some notes, rewatch it, and make sure you share. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We love your feedback. If you want a part 2, I may be able to get her back.
Listen, we can come here. We can talk again.
But no,
what y'all want to talk about?
This was refreshing and enlightening for me. So once again, thank you. And thank you for joining us on this episode, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, ladies. Shenique Luke here, your love preparation coach. So you asked, and now I'm answering. The Love Prep Academy is opening its doors for enrollment for our signature program. Are you ready for your happily ever after? Are you ready to have the life that you've been praying for? Are you sick and tired of wondering, when is it going to be my turn? Well, this program is for you. I'm here to send a call of action to my ladies who are tired of doing it their way and are truly ready to give it to God. So I'm challenging 25 women to become a part of our founding members program. This program consists of weekly coaching from yours truly, a dating assessment, a private Facebook community, and weekly challenges and homework to help you shift how you see dating and marriage to finally get the results you want. Now, the best thing about being a founding member, not only do you get to be a part of a life-changing program, but you get all access to all things Love Prep Academy from now until forever. That's right, we're locked in for life. So click the link below to find out more. I will see you on the other side.